Then, just 3 days before his trial was scheduled to commence in January 2023, a pivotal phone call would irrevocably alter the trajectory of the case. Cindy Johnson, Andre's sister, was going about her daily routine when an unfamiliar number flashed on her phone. She answered, completely unprepared for the voice on the other end, the voice of Andre MacDonald. "He said he wanted to speak to me and to our mother," Cindy would later recount during her testimony, her voice laced with a mixture of shock and disbelief. During the trial, a lawyer would later question her about her initial reaction to realizing she was speaking with Andre MacDonald. "How are you doing?" the lawyer asked, prompting Cindy to recall her confused and apprehensive state. "I was nervous, incredibly confused. My mind went blank. It was surreal," she responded. The unexpected call, a seemingly simple communication, would unlock a series of events that would dramatically reshape the trial. The call foreshadowed a profound shift in the unfolding drama. The contents of Andre's phone call to Cindy Johnson and Moran Smith would leave even his own defense team reeling. For the first time since Andrian's disappearance, Andre offered a detailed account of the events of February 28, 2019, but his narrative was far from a straightforward confession. Instead, he claimed self-defense, a sudden and unexpected shift in his strategy that would dramatically alter the course of the trial. "It was a phone call that stunned his defense team," reported CBS's Peter Vans, highlighting the unexpected nature of Andre's revelations. Defense attorney John Hunter, when questioned about the impact of the call, admitted, "Shocking is a good word for it. Yes, the entire context of the case changed. The unexpected shift in Andre's defense strategy threw the case into disarray, forcing his legal team to scramble to adapt to this new narrative." When Andre MacDonald's murder trial commenced in January 2023, the courtroom was overflowing with spectators, a testament to the intense public interest in this high-profile and deeply disturbing case. It quickly became one of San Antonio's most closely watched criminal proceedings, every twist and turn scrutinized by the public and the media. Assistant District Attorney Stephen Spear, in his opening statement, presented a stark and damning portrait of Andre MacDonald, depicting him as a controlling husband who had murdered his wife in a fit of rage. Spear's words painted a vivid and disturbing picture. "Inside the trash bin in the garage, a hammer. A hammer bearing the blood of his wife. Blood that told a tale of violence, a tale of murder." The stage was set for a dramatic and fiercely contested trial, a trial that would bring into sharp focus the complexities of the MacDonald marriage and the brutal conclusion to Andrian's life. "That hammer, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, has blood on it. It is the victim's blood," Spear stated forcefully, emphasizing the physical evidence linking Andre to the crime. The prosecution presented a compelling case, methodically laying out the evidence: Andre's suspicious purchases at Lowe's, the blood-stained hammer, his chilling internet searches on topics ranging from DNA evidence to body decomposition, all pointing unequivocally toward premeditated murder and a carefully executed attempt to conceal the crime. The prosecution's presentation painted a picture of a calculated and cold-blooded crime, a meticulously planned act of violence. However, the defense offered a starkly contrasting narrative. "This is not a murder case," Attorney John Convery declared confidently. "This is a case of self-defense." The defense presented evidence of Andrian's prowess in powerlifting, showcasing videos of her lifting weights exceeding 300 pounds, suggesting that despite her smaller stature and younger age, she possessed the physical capacity to overpower her husband. The defense attempted to establish a scenario where Andrian was the aggressor, prompting Andre to act in self-defense. Then, on the 6th day of the trial, Andre MacDonald himself took the stand. For 4.5 hours, he delivered a chilling account of the events leading up to Andrian's death, an account conspicuously devoid of remorse. He described their escalating argument over business matters, recounting his return home to find Andrian waiting to continue their heated confrontation. "She became extremely angry at the mere suggestion of us splitting the business," Andre testified, referencing his mention of divorce. "Andrian came right up into my face, her eyes blazing with fury." His testimony set the stage for a dramatic and intensely emotional showdown. At that moment, Andre recounted, his voice devoid of emotion, she spits in my face. He described a physical altercation, a clash of heads, which, he claimed, further enraged Andrian. She came at me, throwing punches. I remember grabbing her, causing her to trip and fall. Then I kicked her maybe twice. He testified, his description lacking any indication of remorse or regret. Perhaps the most disturbing aspect of his testimony was his casual description of their daughter's presence during the altercation. In the background, I could hear footsteps, he stated, referring to 7-year-old Elena, awakened by the violence. He claimed to have put Elena back to bed before returning to find Andrian dead. His response to discovering her lifeless body was chilling in its apathy. I never even considered calling anyone, or attempting to revive her, he stated, his apparent callousness shocking the courtroom. He then proceeded to detail a meticulously planned cover-up, describing the disposal of Andrian's body, the burning of her clothing, and his purchase of tools specifically designed for dismembering the remains. I got up that morning with the intention of chopping up the body, setting it on fire, and then burying the bones, Andre confessed to prosecutors, his words painting a stark and horrifying picture of his actions. The chilling details of his account underscored the cold, calculated nature of the crime. His testimony served not as an expression of remorse, but rather as a calculated attempt to justify his actions, an attempt to portray himself as a victim rather than a perpetrator. Perhaps the most shocking revelation in Andre's testimony was his description of returning to mutilate Andrian's remains after investigators had already searched his home. My plan was to punish the person who caused this whole situation, Andre testified, his words revealing a chilling lack of remorse. I got really angry. So, at that point I poured gas on her and lit the fire. Then I got really pissed off and just started hitting the body with the hammer. Even in recounting this post-mortem act of violence, Andre displayed no remorse, no hint of regret. It's absolutely her fault, he declared, placing the blame squarely on Andrian. Prosecutor Stephen Spear found Andre's testimony surreal, a disturbing display of callous indifference. Most people I've prosecuted who've caused someone's death show at least some remorse, some regret. But he seemed to still be seething with anger towards Andrian, even after her death, Spear observed, emphasizing the unusual lack of contrition displayed by Andre. Following nearly 13 hours of intense deliberation, the jury delivered a verdict that left everyone involved feeling profoundly unsatisfied. They found Andre MacDonald not guilty of murder, but guilty of the lesser charge of manslaughter. The verdict, a compromise that failed to fully satisfy either the prosecution or the defense, underscored the complexities of the case and the challenging task faced by the jury in navigating the conflicting narratives and ambiguous evidence. The outcome sparked a heated public debate, raising questions about the fairness and efficacy of the justice system in cases involving intricate circumstantial evidence and conflicting accounts of events. The trial's conclusion left a profound sense of unease and unresolved emotions in its wake. I voted for murder, and I saw that we were 6-6. Jury member Brandon Medellin revealed, highlighting the stark division within the jury panel. The near-equal split in the jury's decision underscored the ambiguity of the evidence and the difficulty in definitively concluding whether the killing was premeditated murder or a crime of passion. For Andrian's family, the verdict was nothing short of devastating, a crushing blow that left them feeling that justice had not been served. Manslaughter? After he spoke with no remorse, no love, nothing at all. After he used a hammer, stripped her clothes, poured gasoline on her, and burned her body, they gave him manslaughter. That's crazy. I'm going to struggle with this thought until the day I die, Cindy Johnson, Andrian's sister, exclaimed, expressing her profound disappointment and anger at the verdict. On February 7, 2023, Judge Frank Castro sentenced Andre MacDonald to the maximum penalty for manslaughter, 20 years in prison. A week later, an additional 5-year sentence was imposed for tampering with evidence, reflecting the seriousness of his attempts to obstruct justice. In his sentencing remarks, Judge Castro pointed to Andre's remarkable lack of emotion throughout the trial, expressing his revulsion at the brutality of the crime and the callous manner in which Andrian's body had been disposed of, particularly the horrifying reality of the murder occurring in front of their young daughter. Before the sentencing, the court heard several poignant statements from Andrian's family, heart-wrenching expressions of grief and loss that underscored the profound and lasting impact of Andrian's murder. The sentencing, while providing a measure of closure, served as a sobering reminder of the limitations of the justice system in fully addressing the devastating consequences of such a violent and calculated crime. Andrian's sister, Cindy Johnson, delivered a powerful statement, directly addressing Andre MacDonald. "Why choose murder in the first degree? Why not divorce? You cannot escape your actions. You cannot escape God," she declared, emphasizing the gravity of his crime and the inescapable consequences that would follow. Andrian's father, demonstrating remarkable grace and forgiveness in the face of unimaginable grief, addressed Andre with surprising compassion. "In spite of everything, I forgive you. I love you. That cannot change. A part of me is going to jail with you. I forgive you, and it's your duty to seek God's forgiveness," he stated, offering a message of hope and redemption amid the overwhelming sorrow. However, it was the statement from 7-year-old Elena, Andrian's daughter, that proved to be the most heartbreaking and profoundly impactful. Addressing Andre directly, Elena stated, "You killed my mother. You took away my life, you broke my heart, and you hurt my feelings. You will pay for what you did. You will be punished forever." Elena's words, delivered with a heartbreaking maturity beyond her years, encapsulated the devastating impact of Andre's actions and the lasting trauma inflicted upon his daughter. The Andre MacDonald case resonated far beyond the confines of the criminal courtroom, sparking widespread public discussion about domestic violence, the complexities of the justice system, and the profound and lasting consequences of violent crime, particularly the devastating effects on children who witness such acts of brutality. The case serves as a stark reminder of the insidious nature of domestic abuse and the importance of seeking help and support for those caught in such dangerous situations. In 2024, a civil jury awarded Andrian's family a staggering $210 million in a wrongful death lawsuit, a verdict that stands as the largest personal injury award in Behar County history. The significant financial compensation, while unable to restore Andrian to her family, served as a powerful affirmation of the devastating consequences of Andre's actions and provided some measure of financial redress for the immense suffering endured by Andrian's loved ones. The substantial award underscored the gravity of the crime and the profound impact it had on Andrian's family, highlighting the lasting financial and emotional toll of domestic violence and homicide.